The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast.
Whatever you drive, however you drive. AMSOIL specially engineers lubricants to maximize power, performance, and protection in your vehicles, so you can work hard and play hard with confidence.
Fresh off a race at the Chicagoland Speedway, we shrink it by a half mile and raise the banks here at the Monster Mile. Dover Motor Speedway, with its 24 degrees of concrete, 9 degrees of banking on the straightaways, a self-cleaning track with nowhere to go and nowhere to hide, and it will push these drivers to their absolute limits. Welcome everybody to PTR TV for today's coverage of the Triple Bypass Racing League. It's going to be round number 2 of their season. The Action Academy 175 is what's on the docket here this evening. Gonna be myself, Corey Silva, in the booth, along with the production truck doing double duty, and of course Brad Dalton to help me out here with the color commentary. So Brad, last week's race was phenomenal at the Chicagoland Speedway. Things are going to be a lot more difficult here tonight here at Dover.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. I tell you what, there couldn't be more of a drastic change from week 1 to week 2 than literally what we're looking at right now, because Dover, of course, the Monster Mile, as you said, this is a track that a lot of drivers have already said is going to be an interesting run for the night. Been running events since 1969, and I'm excited to see here how Triple Bypass handles the track tonight.
Indeed the case here, but as we talk about last week's race at Chicagoland, let's go back in time and do a little race recap and show you exactly what happened last week in Joliet.
On May 4th, 2025, the Triple Bypass Nichols Oil Pros Series stormed into Chicagoland Speedway to start the Season 8 campaign. With 5 leaders, 7 lead changes, and just a single late race caution, the field saw green flag racing, wild charges, and a nail-biter of a finish. The race was sponsored by Sean Bradley, and the Chicago Deep Dish Derby was broadcast live by our partners at Primetime Racing TV. Kyle Greck, driving car 27, found his rhythm and powered through from 8th to the win. He led 32 laps and set his fastest lap of the race with a blistering 30.02 on lap 5. Greck took over late and never looked back, pulling away for a well-earned victory in round 1 of the season. Davey Hendricks in car 56 delivered another incredible drive from deep in the field, climbing from 30th to finish just 0.3 seconds behind the winner. He kept up his charge with consistent lap times and snagged valuable stage points. Stephen McClendon wheeled car 51 to 3rd place, just 0.7 seconds off the win. Starting 6th, McClendon led 26 laps and remained a threat throughout, including a fast lap of 30.06 on lap 3. Matt Perusini in the 24 led a race-high 46 laps and came home 4th after starting on the front row. Brad Kress in the 9 held steady all day and rounded out the top 5 with an eventful but rewarding drive. Pole sitter Matthew Robinson in the 34th led 16 laps early and set the fastest lap of the race, but slipped outside the top 5, finishing 8th overall. Congratulations to Sexy Waltrip in the 27 car, winner of round 1. We hope you enjoyed this triple bypass Nichols Oil Pros Series recap. We'll see you next time.
All right, that is last week's action, but now let's go ahead and start with this week's action. That is the end of qualifying, so now we will head straight down trackside and give you your PTR TV starting lineup here today at the Action Academy 175. Starting today's race off from the top of the pylon is going to be Matt Parasini there with a 22.785. Brian Dickens going to roll off in the second spot. Row 2 will find Sean Bradley and Mr. James Honeycutt. Position number 5, William Emmert, and then Steve McClendon holding his trophy nice and proud there in the 6th spot. 7th, we will have Dylan Freeman and Brad Krause. He was one to watch last week at Chicago in the 8th spot. Rounding out our top 10, Matt Robinson, he got the pole last week, and Matt Harmon will round out 10th.
Moving on from there, P11, Michael Hopkins in the number 10, and then Ward Fisher there in 12th place. From there, we're going to go P13, Elton Woo, and then Kyle Gresh, last week's winner, puts it on P14. Jason Benson in 15th with Joshua Corner in P16. 17th is the boss man, Al Corey, and then Jared Jackson will find 18th. P19 on the night, Howie Burrows. Howie, nice to see you on track there. And then John the Naj Crutchley will be in P20.
So I assume we can't speak British here tonight, Brad, because Howie's a fellow native.
I mean, Howie appreciates a good British accent, so we'll probably get away with
spot
it.
of tea and a Yorkshire pudding now, mate. We got Patrick Swissholm in 21st, and I mean, British, Australian, close enough. John Campbell there in 22nd. Tex Nichols in 23rd with Derek Cat with the Cat in 24th, and Alex Squire in 25th, no relation to Ken. Davey Hendricks in 26th, and then just rounding out things here today, I think we got 30 strong. We got Cameron Kane, Marty Rogers, Ben Harcum, Michael Seymour, and then our final 2 participants, Matthew Aloka, and who, from what we hear in chat, is not looking forward to tonight, and then Nick Jones, shotgun on the field.
It's going to be a fun one. I'm looking forward to this one. I think Matthew's going to be okay. I think he's just a little nervous, but I will tell you right now, right fronts are an absolute nightmare for everyone. So if you really want to know where things are at, right fronts are going to be the problem, and limited sets of tires, it's going to be pushing it on this race.
Push it real good, in the words of old Salt and Pepper. And I know Australia and England, they're not the same, but I'm not trying to get into that cup of tea. I know still the accents. If I try to do a British accent, it's going to sound Australian and vice versa. So that is that. No country affairs to be had. But the pace car is going to go in. We're going to 1 pace lap, and we're going to go right at it here today. The Action Academy 175, Barney is going to have the flag in hand, and he's going to go wave it, and we're going to get 30 cars strong to race at the Monster Mile.
Barney waving the green flag. We are officially underway, and it is going to be Parasini, who's hungry for a win, who is going to lead off there in that number 24. Apparently, my twin is Parasini, but I don't know all about that. Sean Bradley trying to chase him down hard there for second. Third place has already seen Emmert and Dickens swap places. They're going to continue to battle on further back as they come out of the corner. 1 lap down, 174 to go, and it's already action-packed.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of lanes are in play here from the broadcast we did last week. A lot of different people were saying they wonder how the grooves will progress here at Dover. Well, whether it will stay right to the bottom, whether they'll have the ability to chase their way up the track. Everyone's staying right to the bottom of the racetrack thus far. Got to watch out for the exit of the corner there. That is a broken ice cream cone. William Emmert pounds the turn 4 wall. He will not be, he was the first, but he will certainly not be the last.
I had an ice cream cone before the broadcast. I hope I didn't jinx Emmert there going through as coming around, trying to keep the battle going. And again, this Monster Mile here, if you can take on this Monster Mile and really push, but somehow conserve that right front, you can have a good time. And I have a feeling that a lot of drivers are going to play it safe early on, really try to keep that right front nice and happy and going through, and then be more willing to push and get more aggressive later in the run. So we see Elton Wu and Ward Fisher going side by side here, down underneath the Ally Bridge, still holding side by side.
Still side by side. Al Corey trying to figure out where to go. As some more wall contact there. Of course, that safer barrier added a few years ago on iRacing with an update, and that just takes away even about 3 more feet of real estate off, and that just makes those corners even more and more difficult. Whoa! Somebody back of the shot. That was catastrophic. And
That's
that was
right
Cameron
front broken.
Kane. We stay green. I almost wonder if that was a hardware failure. We'll find out here on the PTR TV replay.
See, so Cameron's coming through.
No, that
plenty
wasn't
of
hardware.
space.
That was
I
the
think
Wiener
it just got away
Schnitzel.
from him.
No, there was some contact with Wiener Schnitzel there, but they were both fighting off turn number 2 and then into the wall. Wiener Schnitzel will carry on just fine. Cameron Kane will be in the pits, probably you can see a broken toe link there and everything. But he has a backup car, so here at Dover, you'll lose probably 2 laps in a green flag cycle. So, depending how this plays out, maybe he can keep himself back into the thick of it. Parasini still leading things down with about a 0.3 of a second lead over Sean Bradley, McClendon, and company. They're all pretty well spread out, but where they're not spread out is around the 8th spot. Kyle Gresh, last week's winner, getting by Dylan Freeman. And then that slowly opens the door potentially for James Honeycutt in that number 76 automobile. Happy Mother's Day. Of course, if you're watching this live, happy to all the mothers. Yeah, that celebratory holiday there. But he's going to try to get underneath Freeman for that position, and he will clear it.
Yeah, good clear there from him. And as he goes through, just continue to give some pressure. Just, got to be patient through the run. That's the big key, I think, here at Dover is don't wear out the right front too early. Play a little bit of patience, a little bit of long term. I mean, even 10 laps in, we're already seeing tire fall off. We're already seeing things slow down a little bit. We're already seeing guys have a run of a time as they continue through. So really, I mean, we've got to make it to lap 60 on a set of tires. And, we saw last week pit strategy became an absolutely ridiculous time as they go through. Howie Burrows here. Howie, I know a lot about Howie, and they are very, very quick. They tend to be consistent. And Howie tends to be, I like to call Howie the sleeper agent, because Howie will just find things coming through, and they always find just right at the right time how to get past.
Well, 18th spot, a lot of work to be had, but luckily we are very early in tonight's efforts here. We didn't get to go over our pre-race details because we were very pressed on time, but we got a little bit of time to play with right now. 175 laps is our race distance here, pretty well allocated by the race title, the Action Academy 175. 3 sets of tires, 80% fuel load. We didn't get an exact number from anybody, from any drivers ahead of time, but our brain and our magical mathematical powers will estimate maybe 60-ish laps, but we like to be proven wrong, and we usually are.
I will say, if you watched us do math last week, you know for a fact that we are probably going to be proven wrong, but I'm trusting on that 60-ish number because that would get us through past the 175 lap mark on 3 stops. So I'm going to tell you 60 to 70 is a pretty accurate number as we come through. Kyle Gresh getting a bit of a battle going there with that number 9 behind and trying to keep things moving and just stay nice and consistent. And again, just trying to, I think move his way forward slowly but surely if he can. Brad Kress looking to prove him wrong there and send Waltrip back.
Good battles here going through the field. The 15 spot, that's Jared Jackson in the 84 of Ward Fisher. Ward Fisher making friends with that outer safer barrier there. That is for the 15 spot, and that allows Davey Hendricks to close on in. But someone else who is closing on in, and actually, no, we're going to pause that thought because we didn't get to bring up, the race being the Action Academy 175. Jared Jackson in that number 12 automobile. You can see the sponsor on the hood. He is the sponsor of tonight's event, driving the Lexus. I don't know where he got that contract to allow that to be permissible, but special thanks and shout out to Mr. Jackson for sponsoring tonight's race. I'll try not to do an Outcast joke. I'm sorry, Mr. Jackson.
I am for real. Okay, anyways, so going through, keeping the battle going and keeping this moving and grooving and running through. I mean, these guys are pushing it pretty hard here going around, and I do think Jared Jackson will be in a pretty decent position as he looks to move forward. Of course, running with Action Academy probably gives him a little bit of a benefit because they do have some mentorship there to help out with racers. They get a little bit of mentorship, some support to get things going through, and they'll do a pretty good job here in the NicholsOilPros.com series. Of course, we've had one race on the season. Gresh, McClendon, Crest, Parasini, and Davey Hendricks was your top 5. So I'm going to give you a hint. That's how they sit in points right now, top 5 wise. So as they go through here, lap 19 of 175, they're going to keep battles going. And I tell you what, is this Elton Wu who's about to make me yell woo again like I did last week?
Yes, it is. And with Al Corey again looking behind, is trying to figure out what to do. What is on the hood of that number 76 of Honeycutt? It's a tiger. Tiger. So he's calling himself a tiger, evidently, but he's not roaring very hard or loud. He's purring because he's fallen on back. He's not being very scary here if he is such a tiger. There goes Corey. There goes the 12 of Jackson.
Hold on, pause. Do you not know where that paint scheme is from?
No, I'm very culturally inept.
Shake and Bake?
Ricky Bobby?
Talladega Nights?
I watched Talladega Nights. I didn't watch it with that level of detail, so faux pas to me. Me and movies go together like tuna fish and maple syrup. I mean, I'm not a movie guy, even though I did watch Talladega Nights, so... And if there's anybody that likes tuna fish with maple syrup, just get out. I mean, there's always someone that finds everything I say plausible, but no. Tuna fish and maple syrup. I know there's a lot of Canadians here, but I mean, come on. I know they live at maple syrup, but tuna fish, no. That doesn't go together. But what does go together is a battle for position. Mr. John Crutchley in that number 48 and the Sponge Cat Pizza automobile of Derek Cat going all the way up high, testing that outer lane out, and he's very high, and I sense a wall coming. No, he evaded it, and they'll remain door to door.
Yeah, Derek Cat has a lot of pace in that SpongeBob car. And we'll see, can he deliver the Krusty Krab pizza as he goes through. Naj, of course, one of the vegans here on the league in that number 48. So John Naj there will get a run, get through. We jump back up. Look at this. Elton Wu again trying to find some melted ice cream that is just melting its way down. And Elton Wu manages to get past there and is now going to have Al Corey for company. Mind that bottom wall there, and oh no, I'm sorry, Mr. Jackson. You might be in a bad position here if you're trying to get past, trying to go low there around Al Corey and keep it side by side here through Dover, keeping some action moving and grooving. And tell you what, Corey is getting aggressive there with Jackson.
Yeah, Jackson may not have meant to make Al Corey cry, but it did happen, evidently, because now Al Corey goes up the track, and again, that ice cream cone, I don't know if that's a waffle cone, because if it is, that cone's going to be leaking all down your lap there, because there ain't nothing left of it, but he's fast, but, I mean, that's the trend I've learned, and now he hits the wall, bounces off into the 12. You know these guys way more than I do, Brad, and what I've learned of the 405, he's fast, but he's uncontrollably fast. Last week at Chicago, he really struggled with the long run pace, and here at Dover, he's fast, but he's struggling to keep it off the concrete.
The ice cream painting on that 405 makes so much sense because the 405 is very good and very quick in a short run, but starts to melt away on that long run pace. And that is I think that is the nature of that. And unironically, the 405 ice cream paint just does really well as it goes through. William Emmert, of course, again, as I said, very short. Pace is great, but long runs are not it. Check it back in up front here. Sean Bradley, Steve McClendon, of course. Steve McClendon, our defending champion here, looking to have a good run and is going to keep things moving and grooving. Finished second last week, is looking to pass Sean Bradley there, who is looking to hold on a bit further ahead. Who's running mid-track. I mean, just really there through 3 and 4, just parked that car middle of the corner. Let's see if it's the same way through 1 and 2. And yeah, no, Sean Bradley really just locking that car in the middle, and McClendon very comfortable with following right behind right there.
Yeah, and he's just trying to get some clean air on the nose of his car. They're running a little bit lower, but the hard part of Dover is once you get to the corner exit, everybody funnels back down and do about the same lane. So even though you might get clean air through the center of the corner, you lose it all at corner exit. But Matt Robinson, remember last week, the pole sitter at Chicagoland, and things went astray pretty quickly for him, but is currently having a good solid top 5 run. Brad Kress, he was in the thick of it last week, but remember last week's race was all about tire conservation, fuel load, and everything about that. I expect some of that to happen here at Dover, but the difference between that last week and today, Brad, this track is a lot more skill set oriented than the mile and a halfs were. I don't want to call it easy, but it's definitely, the field spread is definitely a lot smaller.
Yeah, it definitely is here. I'll tell you a driver I expected a little bit more from tonight, too, just to give a very subtle shout-out, is the Popeyes car is going to make a run here down low, that number 78. Ben Harcum, just who I was about to talk about. Harcum got to drive on Dover yesterday.
Was that a segue, or did I literally just guess right?
No, you just guessed perfectly,
wow.
So good job to you. Ben Harcum literally drove on Dover yesterday. Now, granted, Ben Harcum said he only got to go 80 miles an hour, but you know what? Yeah, I expect Ben Harcum, to take that real-life experience in a car and move his way forward a little bit more. I don't actually know what type of car he was in, though. Based on my limited knowledge, it appears it might have just been like a rental car, Elantra or something. I can't tell.
Hey, Elantras are pretty fun. I used to have one of those things, but you can see who is that in the black automobile. That's Harmon using that super high lane through 3 and 4. And Gresh try to get that clean air. Then there goes the Home Depot, the Tony Stewart-esque car. That is Elton Wu in that number 5. Again, Dover is one of those tracks. It looks multi-groove, but it really isn't. It's one of those funny things. I remember hearing one of the real world drivers, they said concrete is never multi-groove. It's just there's a good groove every lap and it changes. It makes sense. You might just kind of have to go second level and kind of really process that, but it's not that each lane works well. You never know which lane is the lane for that lap. Concrete is very tricky like that.
Yeah, Dover is such a fun track in that regard, though. That's the thing is, you may not know what's working, but you're going to find out. It's either going to work or it's not, and you kind of don't have a choice but to sort of just suck it up and deal with it at that point, which is always interesting. As Jared Jackson there goes low, gets a pass done. 56 is continuing to run through, and, we're saying 60-ish laps on the fuel load, and stage break is at 75, so that produces some weird strategy decisions somewhere for somebody. And if there's something Chicagoland taught me last week, it's that these guys really throw off any sort of strategy decision I can make when it comes through. But you got to think, how's the stage going to affect the decision for pits, when they pit, what they do to pit? It's going to get interesting here as our leader, Matt Parasini, has sailed into the sunset, which, of course, as I said last week, Parasini is gunning for a win this week, and it looks like he may be in a good position as the owner of Nichols Oil Pros. Tex Nichols there is going through and around.
And this is the back of the field, and actually Parasini's lead. If you watch the real world race, you saw Larson's lead shrivel at the end of the run. That's what's happening to Parasini now. It's close to 2 seconds. This lap traffic certainly not helping. But Sean Bradley has it cut to within 0.4 of a second. Tex trying to stay on the lead lap. And Michael Seymour, they're trying to stay on the lead lap in that number 87 car. But like you said, if our fuel estimates are right and they're not going to be able to make 75 laps, which I don't think they can with 80%, they're going to have to make a pit stop. But again, with the Dover Speedway pit lane being 35 miles an hour and so long, it's such a risk because you will lose 2+ laps and you never know if that caution's going to come out.
It is the biggest gamble. I know we're in Dover, but it almost feels like you're in Vegas with the gamble you have to play on a green flag pit stop here, because it either has to work well or you're looking at heartbreak. It sort of doesn't matter what you do as they go through. Checking back in, there we go. Shake and bake Ricky Bobby getting past and now continuing along. And that number 76, James Honeycutt, getting passed by Marty Rogers, continuing to battle on.
And here comes Jackson, who's apparently he is just the camera king here today because he has himself on the shot basically every third or fourth camera shot. He's in something. He'll get by Wu there. And what's his start statistics here today? Up, well, what will change to 10 spots here in 40 laps, which is pretty impressive. And I'm going to give him kudos for that. We didn't get to go over the point standings yet. We had a very abbreviated start, but just as a little reference to where things stand after one race, you can see Gresh getting that points lead by 1 over McClendon, Kress one behind that, tied with Parasini, Davey Hendricks. So, of course, as you'd expect after one race, things will be intense. But again, Kyle Gresh as our points leader, currently running in the 7th spot now. So we'll see if any more headway can be made. But up front, speaking of headway, Sean Bradley's kind of stabilized out at about 0.4 of a second back. Parasini has cleared the immediate lap traffic. Howie is about, say, 3 to 4 seconds from going a lap down. And again, 30 to go in the stage. Just looking here, and Brad, if you see him, let me know if any pit stops are to be had.
Yeah, I don't see anything happening yet looking through. It looks like Cameron Kane, Nick Jonas already out of this race. Matthew Alaka is down 3 laps currently. So Matthew Alaka has pit. But I don't believe that is a scheduled pit stop in any way. I have a feeling that was due to some damage. Of course, Matthew Alaka, the driver, before the race saying, I don't know if this is
there we go. Someone's in
my race. And who was that coming in? Let's see if we can find that.
It was
that is Howie.
Yeah, but Howie was in the mid-teens, 20s, so not an immediate threat to the leaders, but an immediate threat for the leader is Sean Bradley. Is he going to try to use the outside lane to make the pass here at Dover? Well, not quite, but coming through 3 and 4. Again, now you have Parasini taking the air off. They're both using that high lane. That's certainly going to put a little bit of a thorn in Bradley's attempt here, but now look at Parasini's going to run the bottom. That's going to put clean air on the nose of the 77. He's going to get a good run off of 2 and down the back. And what can he do through 3 and 4?
Well, Sean Bradley definitely has pace in that car. He's going to be looking to make some sort of a run here coming through. Let's watch running a slightly offline to Parasini. Parasini is definitely feeling defensive here going through. I have a feeling just this is the tire difference. I think Bradley has saved some tires here. Sean Bradley running that Slaughter Racing design, and so is Parasini running Slaughter Racing designs. Of course, the paint scheme's made by Jeff Slaughter going through. And now we come through 3 and 4. Watch the lap car ahead. Which way do you duck? Dive, duck, dip, dodge, dive, and go through and around. And looks like still another lap of holding on here for Sean Bradley, who is running high. And I think Sean Bradley definitely has the pace over Parasini. It's just a matter of getting past, because it's one thing to catch, it's another pass, as we all know.
As that's Emmert goes all the way up high and out of the way, and they will have to use the inside lane that time round, and I think that worked to Bradley's advantage. He's trying to make that outside lane work, but again, just kind of running out of air, because once you get to the exit of the corner, it really tightens up, makes that outside lane very hard to use. But he got a quality run that time by, as we're pushing 50 laps in. Haven't seen anybody else pit. So maybe 75 is plausible here, as he got a really good run there, but had to pull it down as Ward Fisher in the pits in that number. Never mind, caution.
122. That was a hard wreck for the 122 going through. Ran somebody absolutely down to the apron, and then they just came up and wrecked them. So.
Oh, yeah. This is going to be interesting.
I'd been watching this kind of off to the side of my second monitor. And then I don't know what happened with that. And that's just, man, that's a hard wreck.
Brad, you know these guys better than I do. What level of opinion are we allowed to put into this?
I mean, my opinion is there's absolutely no doggone reason to be running someone all the way down to the apron when you're not even...
And that poor 16 car right here. Actually,
yeah, keep this going for a second, because this just hurts.
Well, actually, is that poor 16 car? I don't know how that would have... I don't know. We'll be politically correct and nice about all this, but everybody's going to come into the pits. That will kill the stage pit question there, but this will allow you to pit, and then you'll have 23 laps to pit on the stage. So we'll have kind of a little bit of a sprint, and I think the tires are there for everybody to make another tire stop in 20 laps. So this is a really good opportunity to just prep for a sprint race. And 35 miles an hour down into pit lane on our Whiplash SimCam pit drone here. Parasini slowing on in. He was super conservative, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, he was here. And I think what I would expect from everyone is 4 tires now, and at the stage break, just regroup, get full fuel, and then keep going. I wouldn't expect anything too crazy. And that conservative pit stop from Parasini costing him the lead, almost costing him second place there. Sean Bradley gets ahead. A few drivers did stay out, though, and I'd be curious to see if they just run it to the stage or if they're going to pit in. We saw Chicago land one caution cause a huge split strategy setup, and we'll see what happens here as we go around.
So the first 5, and I'm validating this on my back end because I have more data on the back. They stayed out, so that's why you see the zeros there, because they have yet to come in. So this would leave 22 laps, and are they coming down this time by? No. Actually, Michael Hopkins, he's coming in, so he will be one of them, but the top 3 staying on track. And with the fall off we had over 2 seconds, Brad, I am rather scared for what may be at present here.
Well, we saw how it worked whenever people decided to not pit at Chicago. The pizza under the sauce. It was interesting. And again, as I always proclaim, I am not great. So we'll see how this happens, because pit strategy is not my forte as they go through. A little bit of info we're getting in YouTube chat here that always gives us a little bit of things to remember. Concrete is very temperature sensitive. That's something I forget about, is that concrete is very temperature sensitive. So this will be one to watch the long run and, how that happens, how things affect. What's our weather looking like right now, Corey, as we're coming into 3?
Well, let's take a look here. 92 on the track, 74 air, and very quickly you can see from the blimp cam that it's not cloudy, but it's also not sunny, so the sun is kind of more masked, so not really any super hot areas of the racetrack. But we will get ready for what will be a 20-lap sprint. Top 3 are on old tires. The wheel spin should be scary. Let's hope they can get it all sorted here. Green flag in the air. You can see everyone getting squirrely on the loud pedal. But so far, so good. But let's see what happens as they make the corner.
Ben Harkham with maybe the slowest restart I've seen from a car there in a while. And you can see Parasini taking advantage of that, already getting past, is going to drop down, cover off Kyle Gresham, will very quickly send it to the inside of Harkham. At number 78, any real-life track experience does not prep you for losing that much in tires. Goes through, is going to get past, and, well, engage Alicia Keys mode, boys and girls, because this is where things keep falling.
That's a 78 going all the way up to the outside of the racetrack. 31, I guess, again, just no grip in the center of the corner there on those old tires. Now in the middle of a 3-wide sandwich. Harkham to the top. The 31 of Freeman in the middle, and just a conga line of 4-tire cars. And who was that? I think that was McClendon, who absolutely pounded the turn 4 wall there. But yeah, carbon fiber body is going to stay strong, allow him to keep chugging along in that 4th spot. And not to any surprise, all those 4-tire guys have already gotten themselves into their appropriate positions. Kyle Gresh, high as he's been today. Last week's winner, give him some confidence and some clean air. Let's see what he can muscle.
Yeah, Sean Bradley losing 2 spots in the price of 1 corner there, getting passed by Gresh, and that forced Sean Bradley to the high line through 3 and 4, dropped back behind McClendon, and now we just kind of watch and see where things go as they come through. Jerry Jackson, our race sponsor here on the day in the number 12, is up into P8 and continues to run forward. Harkham has dropped back to 11th already. That is the difference in the tire run, and now it's a battle for the lead between Parasini and Gresh. Gresh is going to look high. Gresh is going to look low. Gresh is going to come around.
Oh, we're blocking again.
That was cheeky is what that was.
You'd think this was the Lego 175 with the amount of blocks that we're seeing this early in the race here, but That's the name of the game. Keep that track position, I suppose, at any cost. McClendon will get pulled back into the mix here, but now Gresh will get the high-low run and see if he can maintain down the back. Not able to. Parasini got enough of a run, but again, you can see 27. Now he's getting planted with the dirty air from Parasini. Parasini misses the bottom. That allows Gresh to get a really good bite on the inside. And again, all the while, McClendon trying to figure out how to pounce.
Yeah, and remember, this is just lap 61 of 175. There's still plenty of laps left in this race, so no sense of doing anything too unnecessary. But again, Parasini defending inside. I think Parasini, that's a wiggle, that's a tap, and Gresh almost saves it, has to avoid McClendon and Bradley, and hard hit for Gresh.
Yeah, you saw that happen live as some super hard racing for the stage. And we'll check it out on our replay. We're about a half lap earlier. We'll see what happens here off of 2. Again, a little bit of a block, goes low, then blocks and crosses over to the high side, and Parasini got tight through the center of the corner there, or so it appeared, and then that pushed him into Gresh.
And Gresh almost had that save too, looking at that. And then, unfortunately, I think just kind of ran out of room.
Watch the wheel of
the
Parasini here.
Yeah, I had to open it a little bit. He was too tight, I think is what happened there. So I don't think that was an intentional turn up and wreck a guy. I think he just got a little tight there and was trying to hold on to it and just, having that side draft pull going. And unfortunately, Parasini losing that one in the battle, and we'll see how that affects Parasini's attempts to win this race today.
Yeah, and obviously with the quick caution and another caution to be had in about 12 laps, you're not going to be able to take a set of tires this time by only with 4 on the wall. Nothing you can really do there. You have to stay out this time by, as somebody was getting the free pass there, and that's the Wiener Schnitzel. That's Patrick Swisshelm there, and that number 714. He's back on the lead lap. They'll be the 22nd driver to be on the lead lap.
Yeah. Looking here in YouTube chat, so Howie has now put in YouTube chat and said the car is too grippy. I don't feel the spice I get in other cars. Howie, what do you mean by this? Actually, I don't want to know what you mean by the spice. The bitterness has nothing to do with the 26% right front that I had. Well, I mean, surely the tire dag isn't that strong here, is it?
Well, again, they are using the custom setup, so sometimes leagues actually purposely build a setup to wear the tires out. So you never know. But just the next gen car, the way you drive it, William Byron drove the truck race at Kansas in the real world, and he said, it's fun to slide a vehicle around, and you have to drive a next gen completely different than you drive an Xfinity, a truck, an ARCA car, or if you're a road racer, this animal drives differently. So depending what you're driving, and if you just did a B fixed before you joined this server, you got to reacclimate on the fly.
Yeah, the setups are very well built and very different, I will say, to the default iRacing setup. So you do have a good point there that I hadn't thought about. Let's see how this run goes, because we're going to be 10 laps to the stage, if I'm not mistaken, when we go green. So we'll see how this little run goes through as they come around. And Parasini to the outside, McClendon to the inside. I have a feeling McClendon is going to get a real good jump on this restart as we come through. We'll see how this battle goes. Coming out of 4, coming towards the Geico PTR TV restart zone. I wish it was the PTR TV restart zone. Coming through, and there we go. McClendon with a great run there to get things started. Sean Bradley might actually be able to jump into second from that one as we go.
I'd almost argue that was too good of a restart there to get that good of a jump. But all still stands just fine here as we come down the back straightaway. Again, 10 laps to go to our next caution for the stage. Al Corey going really high and up the racetrack there. Allows the 12 of Jackson. And we're wrecking again, 56 into the wall. That's Davey Hendricks. Won't cause a caution, but certainly will hurt Davey's day.
Yeah, and let's see what happened here with Davey going through. Ice cream car behind, and I scream, you scream, we all scream.
Yeah, that wasn't going to work.
Yeah, that wasn't pretty.
Yeah, that was not Sydney Sweeney. That was not pretty. That was more like a B. Arthur there. But that either way, we carry on, and we come to what'll be 8 to go. William Ebert somehow, actually, he must have took his free pass already. This the only way he could be in the top 10 as many times as he hit the wall. So taking advantage of that backup car that is available. But towards the front of the field, McClendon 0.3 of a second up on Parasini. And Bradley in third. Remember, Bradley was trying to take the lead. I think he actually did take the lead for a brief moment for one of the other cautions. No, he has paced long run pace in that number 77. Harmon and Robinson, the Matthews in fourth and fifth presently.
Yeah, and as they go through, at this point, you kind of have to make the decision what's more important to you. Of course, you want stage points. You want to get the lead at the stage and get the stage win awarded to you. But at the same time, you got to make this car last to the end. So what's more important? Right now, Matt Harmon has kind of put the foot down and said, I want third place on the stage, trying to go down the inside of Sean Bradley here. And these cars are very much fighting side by side, tooth and nail. Mind yourselves. Caution. Coming through, and no caution.
I imagine this will be the stage. I don't see anything.
This is the stage. Yep.
Did I misread the graphic?
Stage has been thrown. I thought they told us lap 75. Am I wrong?
All right, I'll take. I mean, no matter. At the end of the day, I could have swore I saw 75. But either way, though, this is the stage, so. Kudos go. Yeah, it says in our Discord thread.
It does say 75.
So
yes.
I'm right, and you're right. So we ain't wrong. Either way, but this will be pit stops for everybody. I don't take blame, but it's not my fault. I'm very defensive about that, so it's not my fault. But either way, everybody comes into the pits for a very much desired set of good years. This will be. It'll set us up for presumably a one-stopper, second set of tires, one more set. So they'll essentially have one strategy set of tires in the pits if they do desire them for another pit stop. But Parasini remaining on the racetrack with...
I don't think that's a bad call.
I mean, he has 18, but I'm confuzzled because there's ample tires. Unless he thinks the end of the race is going to be a cluster and he wants to have as many fresh tires as possible. Like I said, you have a pit stop now, and then you have one more required fuel stop, and then you still have a strategy set. So we'll see. Let's put the stint graphic on the screen. You'll see how many drivers stayed out. 7 drivers remaining on the racetrack here at the stage. And they will have to hold off the challenge of 20-lap fresher tires here on this restart.
I think Harcum's going to be one to watch, because if you look at Harcum, Ben Harcum pit under that second caution we had there that was due to Kyle Gresh's little wall tap there as he went around. So Harcum has fresher tires than anyone else that stayed out, but doesn't have as fresh tires as everyone that just pit. So I think Ben Harcum will find himself in a good position as we're one lap to green. We would, of course, usually interview our race sponsor during the break, but our race sponsor is not in voice chat tonight. So,
oh yeah, I was just going to say, hey, we got to do that, but oh well. But again, kudos to the number 12 car of Jared Jackson for helping to put today's broadcast into existence here. All the drivers sponsor a broadcast, and then they get to name it whatever they name it. He chose the Action Academy. I've actually never heard of it personally, but you've kind of already divvied what it is to me. That good service here for sim racers to help you get better at what you do here. So I'm sure there may be a link that you can go to help support that action. And that Lexus, that still baffles me, but the pace car has pulled in. Parasini and Bradley will get the show a-rolling here for the next 103 miles. Entering the Geico Echo Park PTR TV restart zone, green flag, and what a jump by the 24.
No surprise there to me to see Parasini get such a jump there as he comes through. Sean Bradley in second and Jared Jackson up into third. Kyle Gresh is going to be a driver on a mission. He's going to beat up front end, but I don't think that's going to hold him off any. William Emmert there in the ice cream paint job. Going to be looking to get that car moving forward. 78 again. I said Harcum would be one to watch there as Harcum stayed on or pitted on the second caution and not the stage. So he's got fresher tires than everyone around, but even then, the next car with the freshest tires is that 51 of Steve McClendon. So those two, the 78 to 51, those are your first two cars to watch. Then everyone from Alcory back will also be drivers to watch here as they come around starting lap 75.
Now it's on board again with McClendon here, who is right now, it's just kind of, the water is chummed in front of him. He is just ready to pounce on these drivers in front. But not gaining as much time as we'd expect. Now, there could be one or two things. Maybe the older tires aren't as bad, or maybe he's just pacing himself to preserve that long-run speed. You know how the right fronts have been going down, and tire wear has been aplenty, so maybe he's just methodically using those good years to get as far into this stint as he can. He'll get that fifth spot from Gresh, and now Jared Jackson will be next on the chopping block.
Yeah, this is where things are going to start getting really interesting, I think, because at some point the drop-off will still be there, but it'll be negligible. So the big thing is, can they hold on? Jason Benson, one of the co-founders here, has the opinion that Benson is terrible. I don't know why Jason Benson would say that about Benson, but you know what?
Well, Benson is terrible because he just hit the wall.
That was a hard hit there from the puffed car.
For those who like basketball, he is terrible. T-R-B-L. Terrible. That's my Charles Barkley. It's no better than my British accent. But either way, we got a battle for the third spot. Jackson wants it, and Bradley has it. And they will battle aplenty down the back straightaway here at Dover. McClendon just looking to see where to go. I got tires, you guys don't, but I'm going to wait and for the door to be opened as Bradley will kiss the concrete.
Yeah, I think with Jackson being on the inside, that is going to set him up really well. But Sean Bradley, again, very strong on that mid-high line and can hold off, usually in a pretty good position. And, I mean, there's just a gaggle behind him going on. Just an absolute crazy time going. Now the position's been lost. Jared Jackson up to third. And I think this is going to be a 2-for-1 special. Not a 4-for-4, but I'll take a 2-for-1 here as the 51 gets around the inside as well, goes through. And would it be a 2-for-3? Is 2-for-3 a thing? Is that McDonald's?
I think they used to do like a McChicken and a fry for $3, but now I think that probably costs $5. As let's go 3 wide because that worked well earlier. The 56 of Hendricks going all the way down to the flat. He's going to get to the inside of Kyle Gresh. This is all in about the top 10 as somebody kissing the wall there. I want to say that was Harmon, if I'm not mistaken. This is, as we would say, a gaggle, in the words of Matt Malone. Again, I am allowed to say that. I did ask him. No copyright on that, but again, good battle in here just outside the top 10. Not missing anything up front eminently here, but that 28 hit the wall, and it seems like something may have went astray there because he just lost about 3 positions in a few laps.
Yeah, Elton Wu now running low there beside Kyle Gresh as that 28 of Harmon is trying to find some sort of a move. There's the Mother's Day car of Dylan Freeman looking very free. And oh man, the 56. I tell you what, that 56 has found himself in some interesting times of running people real low down the backstretch. I believe he was one of the ones for that first incident with the 122 that ran super low as well. And that seems to just be what happens to him is down in the interior 3. He finds himself all the way down there on the apron. Somehow as he goes side by side with the 76 of Honeycutt, and they bring it through and around, and into 3 they go. 56 will hold the low line there, and he will be able to hold on for now as that 76 will make his way through. And, well, Parasini, I hate to tell you, but Ben Harcum with like 10-lap fresher tires is about to give you a run for your money.
Yeah, and that Popeyes car will take a look, but fall back in line. I did have KFC myself the other day, but that's only because I don't have a Popeyes near me. But the chicken will try to battle the channel. Not really a interesting. I wouldn't make a sitcom about that, chicken versus the channel, but either way you can see Harcum going all the way up top. He's trying to do the straight shot down, get that whale of a run, not the dolphin, the whale of a run down the back straightaway. He will do just that. He'll try to wind it back up in 3. the wind up, and then the pitch is the corner exit. Will it be a fastball, or will it be a change down the plate? It will be a fastball right down the inside. Now he's going to try to dive it on in there, try to make the clear, and he will. Harcum to the lead on lap 86.
Parasini just 10 lap older tires. I mean, that shows the difference in 10 lap tires. We're not at that point for these two where things level out, but they are at the point where they're not under near as much pressure from brand new tires as I expected. Oh, got to watch it through. Will the channel get the chicken now? Will we have a switch back here? And as they go low, bring it side by side, and no, Parasini not enough on the low line to run through, and Ben Harcum will be holding things on for now. Maybe the real F-Track experience is paying off for him right now. Maybe I spoke a little bit too soon as he runs through and around, and see here through 3 and 4, but Jared Jackson, Steve McClendon are starting to gain a bit as well. And then of course here we go back to the back to 76 to 28. They're getting a little bit feisty. Can't decide if they like each other, if that's a friendly tap, or if that's a hey, get away from me tap.
Yeah, Harmon and Honeycutt just behind that Freeman. And Honeycutt will take a crossover move attempt down to the inside. Just lost the spot, but trying not to go down without a fight. But unfortunately, he will have to go down without a fight because he doesn't have a fight to pounce with there. So that'll be a battle for the 12th position. A little bit further back here, you have Alex Squire and Kyle Gresh there, who's dropping back with that ever so damaged, the sexiness factor has gone down exponentially for that number 27, and then even more so right there with some more wall contact.
Yeah, of course, the blast. Having a blast here going through. JC John Campbell trying to run low there. We'll get past Gresh as Gresh just really loves a wall today. I don't know if that is a sexy wall trip decision there, or if that's just absolutely no handling in that car, because, well, when you crunch the nose by about a foot, you'll have those problems. Is the Derek Cat SpongeBob Cat going through, and Parasini trying to get the run on Harcum up front here as they go side by side, and Parasini low, Harcum runs high, and Harcum just slots back in, loving that chicken from Popeyes, beans and rice from Popeyes. Will try to get the chicken sandwich around the inside, and just doesn't have enough in that Camry, I think, to go through, but has it low, will hold it low, and coming out of 4, looks like has to slot back in. Parasini back to the lead.
Yeah, very interesting that Parasini found new life here again on those older tires, but got past and just kind of said, hold my beer, I'll get it back. And then there he goes. Maybe Parasini, maybe a Molson Canadian. That's really the only Canadian beer that I know of off the top of my head, but whatever it is, he is enjoying a lead of over a half second. Here comes Brad Kress, name we haven't spoken of all night, really. The Valvoline car getting to the inside of Harcum for second. And at the rate he's going, I think he's going to get it very easily there. The 78 using every last inch of the Dover Motor Speedway as that car is on the struggle street.
Yeah, the 78 now going to be battling it out with Jared Jackson there, and McClendon, Bradley, and Hendricks are behind going through. They'll be putting some pressure through, and here goes Jackson around the inside. Very easy clear on Harcum. Sean Bradley, Steve McClendon battling it behind, and Corey, your English has been called out officially in YouTube chat. I've noticed it, but now YouTube chat has noticed it. I will also kind of throw you the bone that you're dealing with some sick family members, so I'll throw you the bone. But yeah, some interesting words coming out of your mouth tonight as we go lap 95 of 175. Keep the battle moving, keep the battle grooving, and I tell you what, the field has spread out a lot around this track as this race has gone on.
Yeah, words. Again, little TLDR to my family. We're planning a trip to Disney at the end of the week, and then all of my family is now getting direly sick 3 days before we hop on a plane. Got one kid with 103 fever. My throat is getting really sore here, which is apparently affecting my verbal processing power here. So for that, I don't really apologize, because me screwing up English is half the allure of the channel here. But we have Harcum down to the inside of the racetrack, and McClendon, really interesting that he is, I thought maybe he was just saving the tires per se, but he is just stagnated, even though he's on those fresher tires than some of the guys in front of him. Really ain't doing too much with it here comparatively. He's still in 6th. And, Parasini in front of him just ran a lap 0.5 of a second faster, albeit with clean air. but still would have thought he would have made more of a presence on those fresh tires.
I think that pay window for that fresh tire delta is gone at this point. I think that's really where we're at with it, is that any sort of advantage you had on those fresh tires is gone. And now it's truly about who's conserved, who's pushed too much. I think Kress has been saving tires, doing well to run, but Parasini has also been doing well to save tires on the run. So this is where I think we're going to start to see the run come in, and the question be who's saved, who's pushed, as we have side by side for the lead, Brad Kress in that Valvoline car, Valvoline corporate headquarters, 20 minutes from my house, and gets the pass done, high line there, and now keeps things going, moving and grooving. And Parasini, of course, in the channel car, will have to let the oil car just slide on by.
Yeah, so Parasini seems to have the lead. He seems to have the best car in very certain circumstances. And when those circumstances are over, he seems to get swallowed up by somebody earlier in the race. I believe it was Sean Bradley, and then Harkin was going for it, McClendon was going for it, Kress now has it. So it seems like Parasini is the short run guy, but once you get about mid-length into that run, starts to struggle with the feel of that car. Let's do a brief through the field here now that we are past the century mark here in today's efforts. Brad Kress with the lead here, started 8th up to the pole, I guess it is the pole, technically it's first, although not in qualifying. Parasini in the second spot, just freshly there after he was passed. Davey Hendricks has had a very interesting day. He is in third with our race sponsor, Jared Jackson, in fourth. Sean Bradley in fifth with his Duff. Matt Robinson currently occupying sixth. Alton Wu in seventh. Mr. McClendon, Steve of that variety, in eighth. Ben Harcum in ninth. And then the boss Ben has succumbed himself into the top 10 at the moment. He is in that number 45 car. Then carry on there, Brad.
Yeah, Dylan Freeman started 7th, currently setting P11, so down a couple spots for Mother's Day, but not doing too bad. Joshua Corner there into 12th place from P16 and the number 16. Then the ice cream car, William Emmert, he's been melting down the field, started 5th, currently 13th, now make it 14th, as that number 28 of Matt Harmon gets past him there in their battle for position. James Honeycutt running 4th, started 4th, but is currently 15th.
Yeah, you
is
roast
dropping down
me.
the field. The Cougar car not doing a great time there. Stay Puffed currently sticky in the mushroom car around where he started 15th, currently 16th. Then of course JC John Campbell, the Krispy Kreme Starbucks Dunkin' Donuts car, currently running 17th. 18th place John and Naj Crutchley with that vegan energy car running through. Marty Rogers started 28th, currently 19th, has been able to run the war of attrition in that Bud Light car. And Patrick Swisshelm in the Wiener Schnitzel again currently finds that Wiener Schnitzel right around where it started.
And then just the guys currently people currently remaining on track. Ward Fisher in 21st. Kyle Gresh occupying 22nd after his very chaotic day. Looks like he has pit and he has taken the backup car. Howie finds themselves in the 23rd position. Alex Squire running in 24th. Derek Catt in the pits in 25th. These are all multiple lap down drivers. Seymour in 26th. And then our league sponsor with the AMSOIL Tex Nichols is in 27th. That is our through the field, and back to live action. Kress has amounted a lead of 1.3 seconds, just a matter of maybe the 10 laps since that lead change occurred.
I don't know if something happened to Parasini or what happened, but I mean, just absolutely his run away with this lead. Looking at lap times, I mean, at this point, it's genuinely just multiple tenths of a second a lap between Kress and Parasini is the pace difference. So that is where we're finding ourselves as they go through and along. And, well, if you're Parasini, you're coming up to this cluster ahead of you with the Cat driver, Derek Catt, bringing it through. And now you get past the Wiener Schnitzel going down low. Good pass there. And I mean, at this point, we're lap 110 and 175. Green flag stops have to be on the radar, I would think, at this point, Corey, as we're going on. If you're Parasini, you've been running 56 laps on this set of tires, so you got to do something soon.
Wiener Schnitzel has just hit the wall on the front straightaway there. I think trying to allow the 56 to get by, so that's a precarious spot. Now, if you're Parasini now, I don't envy the situation that is presented for him now, because he's going to have to stretch both of these stints pretty darn long here. You figure if he gets to 60, we're at 65 to go, let's say pits in 2 laps, that's essentially 2 60-ish lap stints to the end. Where if you're Brad Kress, you could probably, do 240, and the Wiener Schnitzel again has absolutely just murdered the right front of that car. I'd be very surprised if that right front is still right fronting, and that's what is it, the 714 still into the wall, but remaining under control. No caution to be had yet. Down to the apron.
Yeah, down to the apron, gets out of the way there. So that car, that right front, I would imagine is not right fronting, especially after the last hit. It was probably already really hurting, and then that little bit of extra hit there just kind of cemented things. Back on strategy, though. Yeah, I don't envy the position Parasini has found himself in here, but as we learned last week, sometimes my opinions on strategy are more than wrong in 27 ways to Sunday, and we are, of course, at a Sunday, so I mean, I'm just saying, I made it to Sunday. Doesn't mean I'm right. Doesn't mean I'm wrong. We'll see here as Parasini stays out another lap. So Parasini stretching this real long. Parasini's either got fingers crossed for a caution or is just really going to run this thing to the ragged edge until the thing's sputtering on fuel, and is down to running 24.7s when he was running 22.9s is his best lap. That's a ridiculous offset.
Yeah, that's similar to what we saw last week at the Chicagoland Speedway here at Dover. And they're going to go 3 wide. Howie getting all the way up to the outside lane, allowing the 77 and 34 to get their way through. 3 wide at Dover. Certainly something you would like to evade if at all possible. And here we come with our first taker to the attention of the pits. It's going to be McClendon, not who I would have thought, because McClendon's tires were even better than some of the other drivers, but said, I can't deal with it anymore. 60 to go. Let me have some Dr. Feelgoods at 35 miles an hour.
Yeah, and as McClendon comes through, I mean, McClendon's going to know that this is a early call for him, but the tire delta, that offset, you're over 2 seconds a lap faster. It's probably going to be worth it when it's all said and done, but do you like to be the first one in the pits? Usually I don't. But that is going to be where we're at as more drivers drop off. The Wiener Schnitzel will be the next one into the pits there. It looks like that apron drop earlier was just to stay out of the way. And, well, Howie, that is probably not the best way to get into the pits. Did Howie stay into that 35-mile-an-hour speed limit? I think Howie did, going through, watching around. More cars starting to just drop off. I think McClendon has ripped the Band-Aid off for everyone, and we'll see how things cycle out as we continue around lap 117 to 175.
Bradley.
There's Sean Bradley coming in.
Yep, we got Dover pit road, not an easy one to get down at all. I don't think Brad's going to pit this time, but it'd be far too convenient. But some drivers will enter off of 3 and just run the apron, but most drivers will try to peel off the banking there at the last possible moment. And talk to Matt Kenseth. Matt Kenseth hit that pit attenuator one day, doing what Elton Wu did, pulled off the track and then trying to get in, and they will both do it successfully, but trying to do it at a high rate of speed to maximize your deltas, that can be risky, and sometimes the risk ain't worth damaging your car for.
Yeah, more cars continuing in here. And there's a wreck at pit entry with Brad Kress and Honeycutt.
Oh, the leader!
Parasini has to avoid. That was a hard wreck, too, that just happened right there. Just happened to catch it out of the corner of my eye. Again, in the static cam up on the back end as they go. So Kress was coming in, slowing down, and it looks like Honeycutt with a late call.
Go on board here. Well, Brad was going to, I mean, Brad, in all defense, let's just get one more brief look at it before we get back to live footage. He was going to screw that up regardless.
Yeah, I think he was going to Kenseth it regardless of what he did. And then I think Honeycutt caught him off guard and kind of just made bad to worse.
Yeah.
Backup car, let's go ahead and get that thing out and going for those two. And we'll keep things moving as well. Plenty of fun happening up on the track. And now we have cars with brand new fresh tires that are going to be going ridiculously fast around this track for at least 10 laps until that right front starts screaming at them.
Yeah, Parasini pit while we were watching all those replays, but So you'd think, again, with the backup car that is available, Kress probably didn't lose as much time as you'd expect. I mean, we'll have to see what the relation is between him and Pericini once things kind of equalize out here. But I would say that probably only cost him about 3 or 4 seconds. Could have been a lot worse. But again, the beauty of a backup car, which as you can see, repairs 1. That meant he did use that backup car. So all essentially back to square one. And where is Pericini on the racetrack? He is multiple seconds ahead of Pericini. So really, loosely, I'm going to say no harm, no foul.
Yeah, I agree with that one. So, Corey, I know this league a lot better than you. Of course, I've ran with these guys for a while, known these guys for a while. Howie is in YouTube chat, and Howie just said 15% was left on the right front when it was all said and done. First, Howie, learn how to save your tires. Second, why are you chatting in YouTube chat while you're trying to race? Third, is it really that aggressive on tires here around this Monster Mile?
Well, as who is that? Someone in the fence there on the back there. But Dover is a track that really the driver has a fair amount of control of their destiny here. It is a track that is known to be very difficult on the right front. But depending how you drive the car will certainly cause a lot of variance. Some drivers, I think they said they're 30s, 40s. So if you're 15, that tells me Howie is driving super deep into the corner, and rather than trying to roll the car, back off, wait for it to rotate, get it pointed, Howie is just going full send and just turning it more. And I would assume that's what's happening, which is causing the massive tire burnage.
Howie fully admitting can't drive the next gen, so appreciate that, Howie. And also,
you can't drive a car more. You can't make the car, if the car is tight, turning it more with the steering wheel is not how you get it to turn more. That's just, it goes against everything that a race you think of as driving a car. Well, it's not turning. Let me crank it more. That is the worst thing you can do, and Dover will punish you like a kid who just stole a pack of baseball cards from the store. If you do that, which, I mean, kids don't buy baseball cards anymore. It's 2025. Bad analogy.
I was going to say, I thought, actually, that's a tangent
people
that
do
I
buy
won't go
baseball
off
cards
on.
these days because they had to put limits on it. Oh, yeah, adults.
Not kids. Listen, I went to Walmart the other day, and they had the entire card aisle blocked off because there was someone in there buying every single pack of baseball cards that the store had out on display. So they literally had, like, cops there to escort them out because it was, like, $5,000 worth of baseball cards they bought. That's a podcast topic. This is not one. But, man, if I had a podcast, I'd be going off about that.
I did steal a pack of baseball cards when I was 10 years old. Still feel bad about it. It was only $2. Still feel bad about it. Parents didn't find out, but if they did, I would have got busted for it. So again, I don't know where that came into play, but don't steal things. Don't. Oh yeah, getting punished. Dover is a place that will punish you if you drive the car the wrong way. Somehow that got off on a tangent. Benson of the Jason R variety is now in the pits. And who else is that? That is the insert generic or every brand of donut and coffee shop here in the form of John Campbell in the pits. Yep. There is no Dunkin' on the car at all. There's Krispy Kreme. There's actually that's it. I don't know why you say there's 11 bajillion.
It's whatever you want it to be. Also, welcome to Inside Jokes.
All right.
It's whatever brand you want it to be, because as you'll find out next week, whenever it's me and Howie in the booth, Howie always thought that was a Starbucks car for some reason. So, yeah, that's just the fun to know here. Check it back in. I mean, cars all over the place doing a lot of different things. And Joshua Corner, 62 laps on tires, still out running right now. I think at this point, Joshua is just kind of saying, you know what? I want to lead some laps and have some fun.
Here, speaking of fun, perhaps, the 56 of Hendricks and McClendon battling. This is actually second and third. And they are the only two drivers currently on the lead lap. Caution comes out now. They are the only ones in a good spot. So actually, Davey Hendricks, I would argue, is in the best position right now, coming off turn number 2. Brad Kress is in the 5th position right now. Let's just do a reference check right here. Brad Kress will cross the line now, and Davey is in the center of the corner, so about a quarter of a lap behind. That 9 needs to eat up to get back to P1 where he was prior, once Joshua pits.
Yeah, and as we watch, I think this is going to be where things get interesting, because at this point, these drivers want this race to go green to the end. Like, that is where we're at with it. They want to see this race go green to the end, because if it does, it puts them in a very, very good position for everyone as they go through. But I'm gonna just speak this into the air, and then if this is the commentator curse of all commentator curses, sorry, not sorry. I don't think we're going to go green to the end, because I think some gloves are going to start to get taken off a little bit closer to the end, and guys are going to start to get real feisty as Jackson goes around the high line along with Elton Wu, and the number 76 will follow along as well. So Joshua Corner is now starting to drop through. There's Naj Crutchley coming through, and that will put Naj Crutchley only 1 lap down now, and the 16 just holding that high line, just running through. I think fingers crossed for a caution to come. It's not coming, and we'll just see how long. I think Joshua Corner at this point is really going to be our gauge for how long was our fuel stint actually.
Yeah, our statistic now currently reading 67 laps around. Again, 80% is the fuel load here in the Triple Bypass Racing League, and a couple cautions to facilitate that, but pushing the boundaries here longer than anybody else has as we close in on 35 to go. Which is really only about 15 minutes worth of action here at the Dover Speedway, with these lap times being about 23-24 seconds. Our race recap as of what we've seen thus far: we've had the race slowed by 3 cautions for a period of 7 laps, 8 leaders, 12 lead changes, and Gresh with a 22.88 gets the fastest lap, and that could change, and it won't be changed by the 16 who just hit the wall as everybody drives on by.
Yeah, and everybody just running through there, getting back on lead laps, and that is going to be important as they continue along in the long run. We'll see how things go and move, and as we go through the low side here, coming around, there's Brad Kress running around. And,
let's see,
Brad. Just gaining time quick.
Yeah, you can see on the ticker 10.6. There's essentially a 3-second gap between Hendricks and Kress. That will be eventually when this infinite fuel cell finally runs dry, unless he has some kind of uranium energy supply, getting that engine going. At some point, Hendricks will take the lead, and then eventually we will see if Brad Kress has enough to overcome it, because secondly, you have McClendon. He is a second and a half behind, another 0.8 back to Bradley, and then you have Brad Kress, who is still again hovering right around 2.73 seconds, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah, and that is going to be where things start to get really interesting, I think, here. We're not, running through and not seeing anything too crazy happen here as things go. 72 laps ago, pits. Is it pit this time by? Is it pit this time by? No. Let's just keep this thing going yet again. But Derek Catt just came into the pits, though. I did just catch that. Not sure what's happened to bring the yellow SpongeBob mobile pizza car.
I'll do that every time, even with a sore throat.
Okay, fair enough. And then the Mountain Dew car is in as well. So the Blast has found his way in. So not sure what's happening with these cars to bring them in. Were they off that much on the pit cycle?
I don't know, but I'm starting to think that Corner has like plutonium or something as the energy source in that number 16, because he's just going and going. Lithium ion, I don't know, lithium phosphate, whatever they make batteries or whatever out of, but 74 laps. Oh, here he comes. 74 coming to 75. And yeah, a little bit too many beans there on the inside. And then he's going to get super slideways. If we had a scoring system on how that pit entry would get rated, I'd give it a 27 out of 100 there. Not how you want to do it, but he gets down and hopefully within speed limit. And now we'll cycle back to what will be our actual leader, and we'll get to follow the trends, the stats, and see if Kress can overcome the pit road faux pas to win this race, and he will get by McClendon with relative ease.
Yeah, good pass there from Kress past McClendon, now running through, bringing it around. We'll see how this goes. We're hitting almost 25 to go, and, well, Corey, you and me both know once that 25 to go Band-Aid gets ripped off, drivers tend to get a little bit more antsy. It's kind of like when you give a kid ice cream. They tend to just sort of run around, and I know that because I watched a 3-year-old with an ice cream sandwich yesterday eat that ice cream sandwich and then go and swing on a swing for 20 minutes and then run laps and circles and run so much that I wasn't expecting it. So we'll see what happens. And we might have a little bit of chaos because Naj there very low. I don't think Naj was intentionally that low, but Naj finding the way all the way down to the wall. And I mean, I wonder if you know how they do it in Dover. Apparently it's drift the car like that.
Yeah, that good save there, not wanting to throw off the flow of the race here. And Robinson will get by Gresh, and that's corner there. Remember, he just got those fresh tires. Parasini and Wu in a battle of some sort. This is back in 6th. And yeah, the tire set on each of those drivers is basically equal. So I'm actually wondering how Parasini fell into the clutches of Wu, because I would have thought he would have been much higher, but maybe that 24 in dirty air just not what he wants it to be. But just going back up front, watching the gaps there, Brad. Gresh is probably taking some clean air that Davey really wants away from him. But Kress not gaining at the clip I would have thought, 2.6 seconds. Let's see on the stopwatch, only about 2/100ths of a second faster that last lap. So unless Hendricks absolutely plateaus, Kress is going to have an uphill battle.
Yeah, definitely will be interesting to see how it goes for Kress. I think Kress, again, not in a bad position, I'd say, but maybe just not enough there to be found. Elton Wu, Ben Harkham. Well, the Home Depot to build a Popeye. I don't have a transition for these two as they come around. Elton Wu now getting passed by Harkham. Harkham able to get that chicken sandwich just one step higher, now needs to get past the car ahead, and will do a pretty good job of trying to do that. As they go through, they settle in single file for the moment, and we'll keep going around here. Lap 153 of 175. Parasini about to get swallowed up by SpongeBob there. Not a case of SpongeBob ripping his pants. And McClendon getting past that ice cream car of William Emmert, who is, of course, down on laps. And Kress not making headway at all right now. No, it was, if anything, actually lost a little bit of time. Pushing 3 seconds down. He's by his lonesome right now, so this has no influence of traffic. You can see that purple-esque car in front of him. That is the battle for position for second, Sean Bradley. And Bradley is trying to get by Gresh, who is in the lucky dog position right now. But a lucky dog only matters if a caution is to come out. And there are some guys out here who are trying to push it. And speaking of pushing it, Kress, I think he just engaged the IHOP mode and pancaked the wall off turn number 4, so that certainly won't help causes. So Hendricks may have, well, I don't want to speak too far ahead, but he is in position to kind of snooker himself into a potential victory, but 19 more miles to fight for it, or 20. Potential being the key here as we go through, watch the battle around. Here is Elton Wu trying to woo his way around the inside of Al Corey in that Canadian Tires car with John the Naj Crutchley there behind. Of course, Naj is a lap down, no factor to this fight, but it's just going to be kind of enjoying the show, get some popcorn out, and just sort of enjoy the run there going behind as they go. Freeman trying to go past the inside of Naj and does so there. Again, the Mother's Day car. Not going to see the win on Mother's Day, but not doing a bad job there on Mother's Day nonetheless. We'll be looking at a top 10 when it's all said and done, potentially 19 laps to go here. Elton Wu trying to woo his way through. There's the 16, and that 16 has some bloody good tires on it there. Fresh tires.
Bloody good tires, mate.
Man,
I mean, you just said bloody good in an American accent. Like, we don't say that over here. He's got some bloody good tires on, pal. Would you like a Gatorade and a hot dog? Let's mow the yard in our Skechers with our jorts on. No, I mean...
Wait, is it Skechers or is it... Hold on. As a
New
potential
Balance.
homeowner, is it Skechers or New Balances? What am I supposed to be wearing?
I mean, they're one and the same. And you got to wear your long white socks. Preferably the Great Value one with the blue stripes on top. As we get a battle here, Al Corey going up into the 7th. But yeah, you cannot say bloody in an American tone. And you're talking to somebody who's been binge watching Kitchen Nightmares for the last 2 weeks. Bloody hell, mate! Al Corey getting a position on Ben Harkham here. And move that 45 car, mate, into the 7th position, eh? That's an accent. I don't know where it's from, but that's an accent. That's why I...
Roundy, turn lefty, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah, either way. Brad Kress has made, like... Oh, I got nothing, man. I'm trying to think of stabilize, flatline. But I didn't want to use... I didn't want to say
like
death.
A Disney pun?
I didn't want to say death like he flatlined, but he's not going anywhere. He's stabilized at about 3 seconds behind the leader. Bradley has stabilized. So again, the newness on those tires ain't new anymore. Parasini, I think he has engaged the passer mode, getting by Jared Jackson. So that moves Parasini up into 5th, but he is 9 seconds behind and has 4.5 seconds to the next position. So he will be pretty much set in that 5th spot, barring the help of a caution flag as we head to 10 laps to go, but not quite in a few laps. Battle going on for the 8th and 9th position. Freeman trying to get by Harkham. Remember, Harkham at one point was going for the race lead, but that was a very short-lived endeavor here. Try to use that super high line here at Dover. Freeman will get by and move into the 8th spot.
Listen, Nichols has Skechers on, so I feel very justified in asking if it was Skechers or New Balances as we go through. Harkham watching here in the 78, trying to go around. Happy Mother's Day. Have some fried chicken, and we'll get the pass. Hold on to it if you can. That's one thing easier said than done. 12 miles left to go here. Leader,
the
56
in the wall.
again. Oh, they're not done.
And that, my friends, is a lead change. Shad Bradley, the seas parted, and out front comes a 77 car. Let's check out the replay.
So this is coming off.
Oh, he got loose himself. That was all self-induced. No fault at all to that other driver, the Baja car. That was no fault. That was just a pure driver error by Davey. And it's not over. In the words of Chris Daughtry, it's not over. I don't know if Davey can do it right this time around, though. He's currently 4/10 back and dropping. And Shad Bradley, right time, right place, may have just snookered himself into a potential victory.
Listen, the only thing on my TikTok right now is Metallica playing Enter Sandman in Virginia or West Virginia, wherever it was, that caused the earthquake. So I'm just going to quote a Metallica song really quick. Sean Bradley would like to be off to Never Never Land if he can as he goes through. Let's see if he can do that gap 3/4 of a second, but he's got to watch the traffic ahead there. Howie, if you're watching the stream right now and not the race, go high through 1 and 2, and well, there we go. Good run getting past there. The blessed car is going to continue to follow behind and go through, and I hate to say it there, but the Bass Pro Shop car might be needing to make a trip to I don't know, what would you purchase a Bass Pro Shop after having a pass like that when you have a big run? Because usually I'd Amazon Prime next day delivery a brand new pair of underwear for a Code Brown moment like that.
I'd go into the camping and I'd buy myself a a tent, a cot, and maybe some emergency food packs, and I just go run off into the woods and hide by myself because I just cocked myself up into a wood. Cocked myself a wood away. That's what I would do.
I don't think that's a bad decision at all here. As we run through and around 56, look at the damage on that right front, though. Not ideal here. 7 laps to go. Gap already 1.2 seconds and continuing to open up. Brad Kress might be able to find a P2 in this when it's all said and done.
Potentially the case here. He's 0.8 of a second behind that number 56 car. And coming down to 5 laps to go here at Dover in the Action Academy 175. 12 drivers on the lead lap, last of which being Elton Wu. Marty Rogers in the free pass spot. And again, these guys have been trying to wreck, but again, Davey Hendricks, you just have to feel how many laps did Davey leave here tonight? 25. Not really the breadwinner in the lap category here today. I think that would have been Parasini, if I'm not mistaken. Parasini led 80, but really has been a non-factor in the back end of the race here. But coming down to 4 laps to go, Sean Bradley in a little bit of traffic, so that dirty air certainly not going to help. That Baja Blast car, of course, was just in the mix of what happened inadvertently to our prior leader, so now he's going to hope that that doesn't repeat itself. Whoa, well, maybe that changes everything.
Well, that is a Baja heartbreak for that number 80. I don't even know if that is actually a Baja paint scheme for the record, but it's the right color. If it's a different type of Mountain Dew, I don't really care.
It is.
Ouch.
Yeah, somebody hit the wall. Benson is not good, according to his own admission, and apparently not, because he indirectly caused the 80 to wreck, which also indirectly caused the entirety of the end of this race to be thrown on its booty.
Well, Parasini might still have a win under his belt. Steve McClendon might be able to win and get himself good position. Sean Bradley, you're not running away into the sunset with this one, I hate to tell you.
I mean, where are we at in pit stops? We are between 40 and 55 laps. So
you got to pit.
I mean, someone's going to do something silly here. I mean, it's inevitable. Someone's going to do something silly.
Brad Kress stayed out. Okay. I mean, that's a decision to be made. Okay.
And is he in Acon mode? Is he lonely?
No, surprisingly, there's a few people still out there with him. So
I mean, but we're trying to see drivers on the lead lap, not off the lead lap here. And
the 16, the 1.
He's at the 34 Robinson. That's it. Kress and Robinson, only 2 lead lap drivers to stay out. Now here comes Parasini in. And Parasini's taken 4, and presumably McClendon took 2 tires. So top 2 on old tires. Third is going to be on top 2 stayed out. Third place going to be on 2 tires, and then 4 tires essentially is the rest of the field here. Remember, we are going to be in overtime. I think from what we were told, overtime is unlimited. I think that's Al didn't have a good answer for us last week when we asked, but he said he thought it was unlimited. Remember, once we hit the white, doesn't matter what happens, we will reach the checkers. But if we don't reach the white, we probably will stack it up and try again.
I think that we'll get the white flag, all things considered. So we'll see how things run for the night as we're 1 to green here in this next round of the
2 attempts. 2 attempts. Howie has confirmed 2 attempts is the definitive answer. Thank goodness, because I didn't want to be here till midnight. But hopefully we won't, although I am heavily concerned about getting to turns 1 and 2 here. But I am going to put all my onus and all my confidence on the skill set and mental fortitude and discipline of these drivers to get through this very difficult situation and prosper in a great finish. Do you share my sentiments and feelings, Bradley?
If there's one thing I can tell you about the Nichols Oil Pros Cup Series here, it's that all these drivers have some great mental fortitude. However, everybody wants to win when it's said and done here. Round 2, Matthew Robinson, Brad Kress, of course, on the tires that are screaming 56 and 51 laps respectively. Everybody else has been in the pits for at least 2 tires. Let's see how this goes. Brad Kress, Matthew Robinson will get us to the restart zone. As you said, Corey, the white flag, next flag ends it, regardless of if we have a full parking garage in turn 1 on the white flag. Green flag's out, and Brad Kress gets away well. He's got to hold on to it for just 3 laps.
Now here comes McClendon on those 2 tires, trying to take things through here. He's going to get down to the inside. Bradley is on 4 tires. Bradley's going to look to the outside of the racetrack. We're not wrecking, but we're trying to in the back. Bradley going all the way, giving a little push to Brad Kress here. Kress is out of the way. Now 1 lap for a 4-tire, 2-tire battle. Everyone's in the fence here. White flag in the air. Can McClendon and everybody survive? And we're wrecking for... there goes Bradley. Now it's McClendon and Parasini.
Yeah, and as they come through, Parasini with half a second off from McClendon. Is there enough to make up there as Brad Kress gets in? Big wreck off of turn 2, but coming around to the line, Steve McClendon just has to run it through. The Season 7 champion, the runner-up last week. I tell you what, he's going to be happy with a win this week as he brings it across and wins here at Dover.
Big carnage did happen behind, but we are a little pressed for time here with some of the late race cautions here, but we want to give our congratulations to Steve McClendon, and obviously got a feel for Bradley there. You got a feel for everyone. That late race caution certainly threw things astray here, but that 51 last season's champion coming through in race number 2 and heading into victory lane. And if he doesn't know, you actually can drive into victory lane here at Dover, so go get yourself that proper screenshot, Steve. But while he does his victory burnouts, let's go start our post-race show with the final rundown of results. Getting that win in utterly chaotic style is going to be Steve McClendon, with Matt Parasini in the 2nd spot. 3rd finds Davey Hendricks. Thought he was going to have it won till the very end. Jackson gets 4th. Harcum in 5th. Al Corey gets a good salvage. He gets 6th out of the deal. Wu, Harmon, Freeman, and Kress your top 10.
Moving on from there, P11 was Matthew Robinson with Marty Rogers in 12th. Sean Bradley, P13 with that big wreck. Still dropping time there on the screen, but will be scored in 13th. Joshua Corner, P14. Naj Crutchley, 15th. Then JC John Campbell, William Emmert, Jason Benson, Kyle Gresh, and Howie Burrows was able to settle it up for a top 20.
Fisher, Ward Fisher, Alex Squire, Derek Catt, James Honeycutt, Michael Seymour, Patrick Swisselm, Tex himself with the 27th, Hopkins, Dickens, Alica 30th, and then it's rounding things out. We got Cameron Kane and Nick Jones. Out very early in today's affair, but Brad will head very quickly to victory lane, and he will find and speak to our prior season's champion, Steve McClendon, and there he is.
All right, Steve. So congratulations on the win. Good evening to you. And how does it feel to win here on round number 2 in Dover?
Feels like redemption tonight after last week, but feels good for sure. Getting that win early in the season, getting locked in. Now we can just focus on accumulating points and setting us up for the playoffs.
Yeah, Steve. So I got to ask the big question there, because, of course, your photo, you now officially have your Season 7 plaque. You now have a win, so you've locked in the playoffs. Are we thinking the Season 8 plaque is coming into play here?
I don't know. I was just having that discussion with my wife earlier today about if we're going to run for points this year or not. So getting that win now probably locks us into at least trying. So.
Awesome. And then kind of talk to me about your race in general. It was a very up and down race. Of course, went into green, white, checkered into that overtime run. Did you take 2 tires there? Do I have that right? And then do you think, I know some people behind took 4 tires. Kind of talk me through that final restart, that final run.
Yeah. So, last week we had the same kind of deal, late caution like that. And, couple of guys took 2 tires, and I was the first one on 4. Didn't have enough time, so really that's the whole reason I decided to take 2 tonight. I was like, man, I got beat on it last week. We're going to try to beat them this week, and Brad not taking tires and whoever else was up there not taking tires kind of helped, pave the way. And starting third there was also a big deal, like being able to get that run off the bottom. Looks like they all kind of got choked up there on the backstretch, and so then I could just get away from it there.
Yeah, it was a good run to watch, Steve. Definitely, taking the decisions of previous rounds and learning. Congratulations, man, on the win. It's a good way to kick off a work week, I'd say, with a Sunday night win. Anyone you want to thank or shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, all the moms out there, happy Mother's Day. My wife especially, she does a great job with our son. And all my friends and family watching, you guys, and who I think Jared tonight for sponsoring the race. All the guys at Triple Bypass that do a great job adminning this deal. And my buddy Nathan over at Catamount Solutions, his name's on the car. He keeps the internet running and the beer's flowing.
Definitely the most important part, man. Congratulations, and hopefully we'll see you more through the season, get to talk to you more as the season goes on.
Yes, sir. I'm looking forward to it. Y'all have a great night, and we'll holler at y'all later on.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, well, that'll wrap things up here in the Action Academy 175. An interesting race here and ends in chaos, but to the benefit of the number 51. Like, share, comment, subscribe here on PTR TV. Looking for 1,700 subscribers. Just need a little bit of help from you guys. If you're new to the channel, just help us out with a couple clicks of your mouse there. But that is Corey and Brad signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.
See ya.